My girlfriend thought it was hilarious to quip in front of her friends. If my ex messaged me right now, I'd ditch him in a heartbeat. They all roared with laughter. I just gave a faint smile. That night, she got a text, but not from her ex. There's a kind of joke that's not really a joke. It's a probe, a subtle test to gauge how much disrespect you'll tolerate with a forced grin. I've been on the receiving end of those quips from my girlfriend Emma for most of a year. But the one she dropped last Friday night, surrounded by her cackling friends, was the final one I'd ever have to stomach. My name is Jake. I'm 32. I'm the type who thinks things through. I like to have a strategy, to anticipate what's next. Cause and effect, action and consequence. That's my worldview. Emma, 27, thrives in disorder. She's a whirlwind of social plans, private jokes, and constant low-grade drama. I thought we complemented each other. I now see I wasn't a compliment. I was the steady foundation she danced on while she spun. A big part of her chaos centered on her ex-boyfriend, Ryan. Their relationship ended 3 years ago. But in Emma's world, he was a specter always lingering. His name popped up endlessly. Ryan loved this cafe. This reminds me of a getaway Ryan and I had. It was a relentless, subtle comparison, a constant nudge that I was filling a space he once held. I'm not the jealous type, but I'm observant. The pattern was obvious. She wasn't over him. I tried addressing it once, calmly and logically. The result was a week of tears, accusations of being controlling, and a theatrical display of her calling friends to sob about how I didn't trust her. I learned my lesson. Direct confrontation was futile. It would just be spun into a narrative where I was the bad guy. So I did the only logical thing. I started forming my own strategy, a backup plan, just in case. Over the past few months, I quietly prepared for the inevitable. I set up a small, wide-angle security camera in our living room, aimed at the front door. I told her it was for safety, which wasn't entirely false. I also bought a cheap burner phone and a prepaid SIM card stashed in my desk drawer. It was my emergency exit kit. I hoped I'd never need it. Last Friday night, the emergency hit. We were at a local pub with her friends for a birthday bash. Emma was a few drinks in, holding court, telling some loud, animated tale. I was beside her, sipping a beer, just trying to survive the night. That's when her friend, Mia, brought him up. I saw Ryan the other day, Mia said, a sly spark in her eye. He asked how you're doing, Emma. Emma's face lit up. Oh, really? How'd he look? Is he dating anyone? The conversation spiraled into a detailed dissection of a phantom. I sat there, quiet. Then Emma, emboldened and performative for her audience, scanned the table, glanced at me with a smirk, and said, loud enough for all to hear, "You know, if Ryan texted me right now, this very second, and asked me to leave with him, I'd be gone so fast. I'd drop Jake in a heartbeat." Her friends burst into laughter. It was a sharp, biting sound. They found it hysterical. The ultimate burn. I didn't react. I didn't get mad. I just smiled, a calm, neutral smile. I looked at her and said, "Careful what you wish for." She laughed again, soaking up the spotlight. "Oh, please." Like that had ever happened. The conversation moved on, but I had my confirmation, the clear, undeniable proof. The breaking point had arrived. It was time to execute the plan I'd been crafting. We got home around 1 a.m. Emma was still buzzing from the party. She kicked off her heels and crashed on the bed. I said I'd stay up for a bit. She didn't care. Once the bedroom door was shut, I went to my desk. I pulled out the burner phone. I found Ryan's number, saved from an old group chat. Using a simple app, I spoofed his number. It took 5 minutes. Then I crafted the text. It had to be simple, plausible. "Hey, it's Ryan. I know this is out of nowhere, but Mia mentioned she saw you and I can't stop thinking about you. I miss you. You up?" I sent the text to Emma's phone. Then I turned on the living room security camera feed on my second monitor, put on my headphones, and waited. The trap was set. Update 1. I'm patient. I can bide my time for the right moment. For the next hour, I listened to music and scrolled online. The security camera feed was a small, silent window on my screen. At around 2:15 a.m., the bedroom door opened. Emma slipped out, phone in hand, its screen glowing in the dark apartment. She was biting her lip, radiating nervous excitement. She didn't even glance my way. She thought I was immersed in my own world, headphones on, clueless. The camera, perfectly positioned, recorded everything. She stood by the front door, typing furiously on her phone. A few minutes later, a thrilled, triumphant smile spread across her face. She checked her phone once more, then turned and crept back to the bedroom. 5 minutes later, she reappeared. She'd swapped pajamas for jeans and a hoodie. She carried her everyday purse and a small travel bag she used for weekend trips. She moved with quiet urgency, her eyes flicking toward me at my desk. I didn't budge. I kept my eyes on my screen. She slipped on her shoes, took one last look around the apartment that was no longer hers, and quietly slipped out the front door. As soon as it clicked shut, I removed my headphones. The performance was over. I saved the security camera footage, a crisp 2-minute video of my girlfriend getting a text, dressing, packing a bag, and sneaking out to a secure encrypted drive. Then, the cleanup phase began. First, I double-locked the door from the inside. Then, I tackled her digital footprint. I logged her out of every streaming service. I changed the password to our shared Wi-Fi. We had a joint credit card I'd added her to for shared expenses. I logged into the bank's website, paid off the small balance, and removed her as an authorized user. Then I started on her physical belongings. I didn't want a prolonged process of her returning repeatedly. I wanted a clean cut. I went to our storage closet and pulled out the moving boxes I'd bought a month ago as part of my backup plan. For the next 3 hours, I packed her life away. Every shirt, every pair of shoes, every book, every framed picture. I was methodical, emotionless, just completing a task. By sunrise, our apartment, my apartment, was wiped clean of her presence. A tidy stack of 27 labeled boxes stood by the front door. At 6 a.m., I snapped the burner phone in half and tossed it into an electronics recycling bin on my way to the gym. The mission was complete. The first contact came at 7:32 a.m. A text. "Where are you?" "I'm at the diner we used to go to. I've been waiting an hour." It was from Ryan. The real Ryan. Emma had clearly texted him from her own phone after leaving, telling him where to meet. The poor guy must have woken up to a baffling message. I screenshotted it and saved it. The real chaos started around 9 a.m. She must have given up on her phantom lover and returned home. My phone started ringing and ringing and ringing. I ignored it. Then came the texts. A flurry of confusion, then fury, then panic. "Jake, my key's not working. What's going on? Answer your phone. This isn't funny. I can hear you inside. Open the door. I swear, if you don't let me in, I'm calling the police." I finally picked up. I didn't speak. "Jake!" she shrieked. "What is happening?" "Let me in." "No," I said calmly. "What do you mean, no?" "It's my home." "No, it's not," I corrected. "It's my apartment." "You're not on the lease. And as of about 7 hours ago, you don't live here anymore." There was stunned silence. "What? What are you talking about?" "I saw you," I said, my voice icy. "I saw you get a text. I saw you pack a bag. I saw you sneak out in the middle of the night to meet your ex-boyfriend. The ex you swore was just a friend, the same ex you joked about leaving me for just hours earlier." "You were awake," she whispered, panic clear in her voice. "I was," I lied. "I saw everything. You made your choice, Emma. You wanted to leave me for him in a heartbeat. So you did. The only issue is he didn't want you back. That's your problem, not mine." "It was a mistake," she cried. "I don't know what I was thinking. Please let me in." We can talk about this. There's nothing to talk about, I said. Your stuff is packed. It's in 27 boxes by the front door. I've hired movers to pick them up at noon and deliver them to your parents' house. I suggest you go there and wait. I hung up before she could reply and blocked her number. I looked around my apartment. It was quiet. It was calm. It was mine. Update 2. I knew there'd be fallout. Big moves always create ripples. The onslaught of attempted manipulation and a full-blown information war was expected. The first phase was the delivery of her stuff. The movers I hired were pros. They arrived at noon, loaded the 27 boxes, and drove them to her parents' suburban house. I got a text from the lead mover at 1:15 p.m. Delivery complete. Homeowner signed for it. She was not pleased. I bet she wasn't. The second phase was the smear campaign. It was launched with surgical precision. By that evening, my social media was a battlefield. Her friends, led by Mia, unleashed a torrent of posts. They didn't name me, of course. Too smart for that. Instead, they raved about their brave, radiant friend who'd just escaped a toxic, possessive relationship. They spoke of psychological manipulation and tech-savvy abusers who set elaborate traps. The story was that I, the jealous, insecure boyfriend, had framed her over a harmless quip, then cruelly evicted her, proving I was the monster she always feared. It was a masterful rewrite of history, and for a few days it worked. I got angry messages from mutual acquaintances. I was unfriended by people who only heard her version. They were trying to isolate me, to paint me as the villain in a story where she was the sole victim. But they made a fatal mistake. They assumed I'd fight them on their turf of emotional, dramatic social media posts. I don't fight with drama. I fight with evidence. I waited until their campaign hit its peak. On Wednesday, Emma posted a long, tearful survivor story on her Instagram. She described the crushing weight of being with someone who didn't trust her and the terrifying night she was abruptly discarded over a misunderstanding. It got hundreds of likes and sympathetic comments. That was my cue. I went to my evidence file. I had the screenshot of the real Ryan's confused text message, and of course, the high-definition, irrefutable video of her actions. I created a simple private web page on a personal server, password protected. The page was clean and straightforward. At the top, the truth about last Friday night. Below, I embedded the 2-minute security camera video. Under the video, I posted the screenshot of Ryan's text. At the bottom, a single paragraph. This is the reality of what happened. This was not a misunderstanding. This was a choice to act on a long-held desire, shown by the immediate eager response to a text believed to be from an ex-boyfriend. This was a choice to pack a bag and slip out in the middle of the night to meet another man. The subsequent tale of abuse and control is a fabrication to hide the shame of a failed affair. I will not engage in public debate. The truth speaks for itself. I sent a single email to 3 people: Emma's mom, Emma's dad, and Mia, her best friend and chief propagandist. Subject line: the truth. The email contained only the link to the web page and the password. The impact was immediate and total. It was like dousing their wildfire of lies with a bucket of cold, hard reality. Final update. It's been 5 months. The silence from Emma and her friends has been absolute. The private web page I created was a kill switch for their entire narrative. You can't argue with video proof of your own eager betrayal. I heard through mutual contacts what happened after I sent that email. Her parents, who'd been funding her victim campaign and fueling her outrage, were mortified and deeply embarrassed. They saw the video of their daughter, thrilled and sneaky, packing a bag to cheat on the man who'd supported her. They saw the proof her entire story was a lie. Their financial support was reportedly slashed, and she was told, in no uncertain terms, to grow up and face the consequences of her actions. Mia, the loyal best friend, went radio silent. The online cheerleading stopped. The crusade for her abused friend ended. It's hard to rally for someone when you have concrete evidence they're a liar. The most satisfying fallout came from Ryan, the ex. Annoyed at being the ghost in our relationship and now dragged into public drama, he posted a single, clear statement on his own Facebook. To be clear, I haven't contacted Emma in over a year. I'm in a happy, committed relationship. I didn't text her, and I have no interest in her life. Please respect my privacy. He confirmed his part and disowned her completely. It was the final public nail in the coffin of her victim story. Emma's life, from what I hear, has unraveled. Without my financial support, and with her parents tightening the reins, she had to get a second job. She's working non-stop, living in a cramped apartment with 2 roommates. Her glamorous, drama-fueled life has been replaced by the quiet, grinding reality of adult accountability. She got exactly what she deserved. A life shaped by her own choices, not one propped up by a man she didn't respect. As for me, I'm good. Better than good. The apartment feels like a haven now, a place of calm and order. I've thrown myself into my work and have been thriving. I'm dating again, casually. I met someone new, a librarian. Our conversations are about real things, building a future, not just keeping up appearances. It's the most refreshing relationship I've ever had. The ultimate revenge wasn't the text message trap. It wasn't packing her stuff or sending the video. The ultimate revenge was refusing to play her game. She wanted a chaotic, emotional, dramatic fight. She wanted to be the victim in a grand, tragic tale. I gave her none of it. I gave her cold, undeniable truth. I presented her with evidence of her own choices and let it speak for itself. She tried to drag me into the mess of her own making. I refused to go. I stayed on solid ground and watched her sink. She joked about ditching me in a heartbeat. In the end, I was the one who ditched her. Instantly and permanently in the past. And my future is a system running smoothly, without any glitches,